Next, get started at northwest.com. I think I said the thing about the sun being out subconsciously. I was feeling like I heard yesterday from a friend that was listening to the post-game show, like, you sound grumpy. And maybe I did. You know, this is somebody who I would expect to be right. And so, like,
I didn't like your tone at the beginning. I kind of yelled at you at the beginning. Like, what are you talking about?
Well,
I'm happy.
I can defend it. I don't think I was not of right mind yesterday, but I'm going to blame the Blue Jays.
Well, we did sort of open up almost. The first thing we almost said was the World Series result, I think, on postgame yesterday for like a minute or 30 seconds before we got into the football game.
The point is, you have a season and you get right there and lose. And there's a sense of like, well, who cares about anything else that happened? And it's not the same, but the Bills have had 5 of these in a row with the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. And I do not blame anybody for yawning through this game yesterday because, like, so what? I'm not saying you have to feel that way or should. And that was my attitude about this game. Like, just, it's important. This is always the case. It's important in the standings. As we talked about all week last week about this, and anybody could know this, Kansas City is now 5-4. That's Carolina's record. Like, that's not a good record. And I still don't think, like, why would I now if I didn't on Friday when Joe sort of mocked me for saying this, like, Ostrowski, just like, they don't have to make the playoffs. You know, they're a little bit close to the edge. Mm-hmm. So it's always important for that. But it's not important for anything else. Is it? Like, you make adjustments. I mean, it's also like in a vacuum, every game is fun, and you don't even have to care about the standings to have had a good time. Go Bills. But otherwise, you're making adjustments and doing things to try to win this game. It's important to win the game. Kansas City would have also wanted to win the game. Fine. But
if they see each other again, there's nothing that you can really take away from yesterday. And I really mean, I think nothing that you can really take away and say, like, oh, well, I have that figured out now. And therefore, I've cracked some kind of code. Because the code has never been that hard. The code is get to him. Can I get to him? Can I disrupt him? And then I maybe have a chance at slowing them down. And they did a great job of that yesterday. But I'd be lying if I didn't tell you, even as the game was unfolding and they were in his lap, Mahomes' lap, really all afternoon and evening long, I'm thinking back to last year's AFC title game when it starts, and suddenly there's all these quick-hitting passes. It doesn't really matter how good your pass rush is or whether Michael Hoyt has 2 good Achilles tendons. The ball's coming out in less than 2 seconds. That seemed like a pivot from the Chiefs last year when the Bills met the second time, and it worked for them. I mean, the Bills still were in the game. They didn't get blown off the field, but they could not get pressure. So I'm not assuming that the Chiefs won't pivot to that or something else that looks. I still remember talking to McDermott after that game. I don't know if he was on right after it happened, but at some point.
Which game?
The AFC title game.
Oh. And
asking him if they were surprised by how quick the ball was coming out or something. And he didn't get offended. He didn't go like Rex Ryan or anything on me, but he didn't sound like, he wanted to be characterized as not prepared for what the Chiefs did, but that's how it looked.
Coaches never want to admit that.
So, there's that. I mean, it does not tell you, to me, the answers to the questions that you have or we have about them in January when they play the Chiefs. So there's reason to be, I don't know about skeptical, but at least not, all right, well, I proved I can do that, because they've been proving they can do that. It's the 5th time in a row they've proven they can do that. And I'm glad they can do that. I'm glad they're a half game out of the 1 seed and a half game behind the Patriots and all the things that, to me, the table is still set for you to have a back half of the season here that nets you the 1 seed. You got to go get it. And then you're probably going to have to play that team again if they make it, which, I still would bet on them making it, but they aren't in right now, and we're 9 games in.
I'm really not. I have no right to be offensive line guy, And the Bills have had plenty of their own injury challenges, almost entirely on defense. But I think, like you said, what the number one angle of these games with Kansas City has been, which is Patrick Mahomes having time to be Patrick Mahomes. And in this game, he didn't. And the Chiefs are down, 3 linemen or more? I think that should probably change, but it doesn't have to. They could still have new injuries or whatever. You can't know. And I think if I'm Kansas City, I've got that, I don't want to say to fall back on, but as somewhat of an excuse for yesterday, because the Bills, for all the effort the Bills have made at this, they have not been successful really kind of until yesterday. They were very successful yesterday, and Bosa is such a big part of it. And I don't know, when they signed him, I'm like, don't play him until January.
Right.
And now the season's 9 weeks old, and he's thriving.
And they're going to need him all the more because I while they did not have Hoyt all along this season, is anyone going to argue that these last 2 weeks have looked like their best defensive games? I mean, they did a great job on the Chiefs yesterday, and they held Carolina to 9 points. I know it's Carolina with Andy Dalton, but Hoyt rushing in the middle and just there's more juice there when he's there, and we barely got a chance to see it, and now he's done. And so that takes a lot of the wind out of it for me. I think it might have been the first thing I said yesterday when we got up and running. What are your takeaways here? I'm devastated that Hoyt got hurt. It's crazy to me. We spent the whole summer knowing he wasn't going to be available for these 6 games. And I would occasionally sort of want to guard against assuming too much. Wait till we get our guys back, because that was there a lot in the first part of the season while he was serving his suspension along with Ogunjobi. So you want to overstate how much you're anticipating an impact from the guy, but I think the impact was immediate and large. And now that's gone. And I don't know what they do. I mean, plug someone else into that role, because, and Oliver's not walking through that door either until maybe January, if at all. So I'm a little bummed out about that. But they had 2 really good outings with that guy in their lineup, and now he's gone. And so I wouldn't blame anyone who's now more focused on that side of the ball with tomorrow at 4 o'clock looming than receiver even. I'd love to see both, but if I had to prioritize myself, not what I think they'll do, but what I'm thinking, I want to go find someone to give me the juice Hoyt was giving me. Because I don't know if they have that internally. I mean, is Landon Jackson supposed to be able to do that? The guy can't even get a uniform. So I don't know what they're going to do with that spot.
I am not sure how I'll react to that. If there's a significant move, because it was, how will this game shape what you want to do come the deadline? You've got the 1 game left with Kansas City, and then the deadline is Tuesday, and so tomorrow. And there were no trades before this game by the Bills. I guess we want to see it. Maybe there's a new injury, Maybe there's something else, whatever it is that pushes them into a certain decision when it comes to the trades. Well, Josh Allen threw 3 incomplete passes. Tell me again about receiver and this GM who was defiant about what kind of effort he and they had made at that position. Now they're 6-2. They've had injuries. Kincaid is back. Palmer will be back. And are we, I already felt this way, really supposed to think that Bean wants to reverse course on that? No. He might. I'd be really surprised, but he might if somebody good, Shaheed or somebody, comes available. Then you might even just want to keep him away from other teams. You could imagine the Bills doing that. But this game did not lead you there. I mean, they threw 3 incomplete passes, 28 points, another win against this team in the regular season.
273 yards. I mean, yeah,
right.
Passing. I mean, the passing offense looked healthy. It was all tight ends, mostly. I mean, a few receivers had singular big plays, had 1 big play, but there just was not much else. So, yeah, I mean, I think even before Hoyt gets hurt, with Oliver out for the rest of the regular season, again, at least that's the expectation, there probably was an argument already to try to supplement, whether it's pass rush or defensive tackle specifically, maybe preferably a defensive tackle who can rush the passer, whatever. That was compelling enough before Hoyt gets hurt. I think Hoyt getting hurt springboards it ahead of whatever the receiver need is. Like, I would not want to base whether or not I had a good game yesterday passing the ball as my reason for not doing anything at receiver. But if I have something that's a bigger need and I only have so much cap room and so many assets that I can, afford to trade away, I might prioritize. I think I shouldn't say might. I think I would right now prioritize something to replace Hoyt/Oliver over receiver.
Well, that's the other side of that coin is for as much belly aching as we've kind of all done about receiver, I doubt right now they're sitting in their office with the thought like, oh, we're in trouble at that position. But defense, maybe. And where I will run into perhaps some trouble is like just already they've spent so much time and money and effort on defense. And now we're going to do that again because of an injury. On one hand, this is what you do when you have a chance. We're here again. Like, you certainly do have a chance. But on the other, it's more capital and cap everything into defense if they do it. And it's already taken a toll on, I mean, maybe not because they're winning still, on kind of who they are with all the investments they've made on defense rather. And some of it's worked out, some of it hasn't, but they are really trying to piece it together. And I just, within the overall blasé feeling I have about what yesterday's win does or is, I think part of it is I have lost to Kansas City. I mean, there's a list of reasons. And they've mostly been really close games, excruciatingly close games. Why have I not beaten them once in 4 tries in the playoffs? Coaching. I couldn't figure out what that was going to be on the last play last year. 13 seconds is one for the ages. Like, I think as relatively limited as they have been, not even really a good word for it, in certain position groups, they have been right there. Missed a field goal. Mm-hmm. I mean, Allen's decisions late in the third of the 4 losses, I thought were wrong. Just like little thing, and everything like that is coaching too. You got a 2-minute warning. Here's what we want to do here. Allen goes out and does the other thing. Like, it's coaching is not just having the thought; it's getting it across so that your players execute it. And as successful as they've been, that's for me like how they haven't beaten them one time when it matters. Now I've got another game, which is good, not bad, good, where, oh, look at these adjustments, what they've done, pass rush and coverage and these cool things to win by 7. I'm kicking that field goal late. Yikes, right? I mean, what were the possible outcomes there? I make the field goal, the game is over. I punt, and the game is probably over, but maybe I'm haunted by 13 seconds and feel like there is no the game is over outcome here. And now I'm going to give the ball to 40. A couple of plays away. I mean, they didn't really come that close, but it gave Kansas City life there. Just, decisions and whatever else there is in this bucket for me is why. And I don't really love the idea, Bulldog, of the Bills having a game here where they did these adjustments to beat Kansas City, and if they play them again, oh, well, we're fine because they did this in October or November. I just don't think it really works like that.
No, it doesn't. That's exactly what that's what I mean about, it doesn't really tell me anything. I'm already thinking about what Kansas City will do if they meet again. Because if they choose to do, now maybe the Bills will be more ready for it because they did it last year, and then there's only so many pages you can continue to rewrite your offensive philosophy. I mean, there's only so many different tactics you can deploy, but they found a way last year, and I better be ready for something else. Maybe that quick game is the thing, and I don't know what the pivot to that is because, again, that offsets pass rush. So if I supplement that to try to continue to do what I did yesterday against them and everyone else I play, I don't know that it'll necessarily – it certainly won't guarantee the same result because they will probably do something different, and maybe it'll be even drastically different. So there is always going to be that.
803-0550, Eric Wood at 4, Sal at 5 today. Mark is with us now. Hi, Mark.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on.
Sure.
I'm really hoping that we go after a defensive player compared to receiver, just based on how that defense. I thought we were running into a buzzsaw yesterday. I sold my tickets. I'm thinking, you know what? I made out on this. I made good money on them. I thought we were going to get boat raced, and this Michael Hoyt. He added a dominating. He just added to what Joey Bosa's been doing all year. He looks awesome. We have to add to this depth. I don't know. We don't know who's available. Like, I'm picturing a guy like Max Crosby. Can you imagine? You have to pay a lot to get him, but go for it. This is our window. This is what, this is where we want to be. The Eagles they won the Super Bowl, and they're trading at the deadline, and they're making these big moves. Brandon Beane's got to do something just to solidify this defense. Going into the playoffs every year, the offense has never really been the problem with. It's been stopping guys like Mahomes, guys like Burrow, getting to these guys. I thought the Eagles, they showed us last year. That's how you beat Mahomes. You rattle him, you hit him, and you make his life uncomfortable. But I was really encouraged from yesterday. I regret selling those tickets, and I'm going to have to listen to you guys. Thank you.
Well, buy something nice with the money. Just make yourself feel better, I guess. I've already said it, but I'm sure I'll say it a lot between now and 4 o'clock tomorrow. If, and this is a big, bold lettered if, okay? Maybe even put it in safety orange if you want. If Brandon Beane was going to be reluctant to add to the receiver core because of just everything, like his philosophy, the build, him being so defensive about it. If he was going to be reluctant about it, he's got all the reason in the world now to follow through on it. Again, if you have a limited pool of resources, you're not going to make 3 trades or maybe even 2 trades. You're going to make 1 trade, right? I've got this much to play with. I've got this much cap room, so we can do one thing. What do we need most? I would totally understand if replacing Hoyt/Oliver jumped over receiver. If receiver was ever even on the list. There's plenty of reporting that says they have been calling New Orleans about their guys. So I want to trust that. It lines up with what a lot of us have been thinking, but I would understand pivoting to the other side of the ball, as much as it can be frustrating to see assets continually allocated there, and when January comes, you still can't stop this guy.
Well,
but they did yesterday, and to me, they have a need there now. I'm not worried at all about the back end. I feel like we are maybe a week or 2 away from Hairston playing more than Tre'Davious White. They split the reps there evenly yesterday, snap count wise. I just think that's coming for Hairston. And Hancock might be a little further away. Maybe there's a little sentiment floating around out there amongst Bills fans today that Poyer, even though physically he isn't up to what he used to be in his prime, maybe that's helping Bishop and stabilizing him and allowing him the freedom to make the plays he made yesterday. So, I'm all right back there right now. Up front, I've lost 2 of my most impactful guys in Oliver and Hoyt, and they're not coming back.
Kyle's next. Hi, Kyle.
Hey, guys. Love the show. Love it. I love your personalities. I listen all the time.
Thank you.
I love like the contrarian skeptic that is Schopp and kind of the passionate homer that is Bulldog. And I know that's not like a skit, right? I just love the dynamic. I will say, last night I'm listening to the post game, and I'm thinking to myself, as Mike just kind of reiterated, that he really wasn't moved by the game. And I always listen, Mike, because I like how you phrase things sometimes. But I'm like, how is that not a huge win? And you laid it out again. So I don't want to put words in your mouth, which I won't. But what I saw out of that game was Josh looked like Josh for the first time this year, really. The D looked younger and fresher and faster than we've seen at all. And I'm with you, Bulldog. Hoyt is different, and that was such a tease. And I am so excited to see him back. The Bills' O-line was moving the D-line. Forget about the D-line, our D-line. I know that's a big story today, 15 hits, all that stuff. But that was a different O-line performance than I've seen against the Chiefs before. And the Chiefs are 5-4 now, and the Bills are 6-2. So I understand all the reasons for us to be, not crazy excited about yesterday, but yesterday, in my opinion, definitely meant something. So I was curious, and probably more for Schopp than Bulldog, because I'm kind of more, I think, picking up on where Bulldogs are. I'm just curious as to why it didn't seem, you said a couple times, you feel like blasé. When I think, man, that's a really, really important win for us in a really tough spot when we needed it probably more than anyone to sort of keep our aspirations alive, not only in the division, but in the playoffs in general. So just curious to get kind of a little bit more of a feedback on that. Thanks, guys.
Big.
Love the show.
Thanks. It's big in the standings.
And that's really all of it to me. Again, you cannot get answers to the questions we're seeking until January. I mean, the Bills did the things we want to see them do to Mahomes and the Chiefs defensively. We want to see them do it in January. They don't get to do that again until January if they meet. But they did it yesterday, and the standings are really all of it to me. Whoever you're playing, I need to keep stacking wins here and keep pace. I'm a half game behind. Indianapolis and New England, they haven't had their byes yet. I have. We've all got 2 losses. So to me, the whole thing is live. And that would feel very different to me. If it's just one more loss, but it would feel like I still got ground to make up. I'd be thinking about New England's schedule and just how likely it is they drop, 2 games instead of just 1 to let me, all of it. So that's entirely it to me, is the standings. And, the style points can matter. But again, to me, a big part of the style points that won them that game left after the third quarter with a torn Achilles. It's a big deal, the guy they lost. So I don't know how you can expect to replicate that without him. They did not have that juice rushing the passer without Hoyt. They've been good. Bosa's been winning. His win rate, he's been impactful. All their ends are winning their matchups. But to disrupt Mahomes to the extent to give him his first ever below 50% completion percentage as an NFL player, Hoyt got a lot of the juice there. And I don't have another guy there to do that.
Time for a break. Eric Wood at 4. We'll look for your calls again after this timeout here on